what's happening YouTube? Welcome back to Sense of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. So today I got an individual review. This is going to be a review of sort of a very under the radar, very not so well known fragrance that happens to be a direct clone of Gucci Nobile. So Gucci Nobile, as you guys know, has pretty much reached the top spot in my favorite fragrances. It's one of the greatest aromatic fougères, if not the greatest ever. And there are some really good ones and amazing ones, but to me, this one takes the top spot, even over Koros. I've talked about it a lot lately. I've done an individual review of this fragrance a few weeks back. And in my process of trying to track down bottles of this, I'm always like, hey, has there been clones? I did discover Rogue Parfumery's Bon Monsieur is very close, but not exactly. It's kind of a little bit denser, and I think that's an eau de parfum as well too, where this is an eau de toilette. So there's some differences, but it is close and it's still being made. However, I did find a fragrance just through the internet, and I finally was able to track it down, and it's by the house of Alexander da Costa. It is called Nobile Royalty. So you can take a look here at the bottle and the box too. So I'm gonna break this fragrance down for you guys, let you know if it's worth getting, if it's close enough to Gucci Nobile. As always, we'll look at the box and the bottle presentation. Then I'll take a look at the notes. I'll talk about its performance and my experience wearing the fragrance. I'll go over my overall thoughts, and then of course, give it my overall rating. And as always, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy classic men's fragrance content, especially reviews and lists, make sure to subscribe and support the channel. I always really appreciate it. And if you have an Instagram, check out the Sense of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel and daily scent of the day posts. Let's take a look at Nobile Royalty. All right, let's kick this review off with the presentation. Let's take a look at the box here. So kind of for a clone, you know what I mean? A lot of times they are visibly cheaper, as well as the scent as well too. But let's take a look at this box. Not a bad box here. It says Nobile Royalty there, Alexander da Costa Eau de Toilette. At the size and concentration, it's a 100 ml bottle. On the top, you've got this continuous, this line, design outline is all over the bottle, on the box, excuse me. So you see that on the sides, and then on the back here, this says a timeless classic cologne for the elegant man too. So they put a little bit more time into this than the average cologne box usually you can see, and some brand information. It is made in the United States, and you got the barcode on the bottom. The box does open there with looks like the coat of arms, so it has a little flap that allows you to open it, and it does contain a black French wrapper. So the box is not bad. I was actually a little surprised. It doesn't feel really thin or flimsy. It's actually a pretty stiff box. The bottle. Now this is where you can tell it gets a little bit cheaper compared to Gucci Nobile, but obviously that's, goes without saying due to the fact that this is a clone house. But there isn't a sticker. This is actually painted on where that Nobile Royalty logo is painted on the bottom. There's a little sticker that you can see, and on the cap. The cap does not hold into place, so I wouldn't pick it up. You can see Alexander da Costa is written on there. It's not the cheapest cap in the world, but the atomizer does at least have a crimp neck, so you don't see that crimp on there. And let's take a look at the sprayer distribution here. Not terrible, not the greatest either, but still pretty decent for what it is. I've used a decent amount of this. The juice is relatively the same color as Gucci Nobile as well too. So not a bad presentation for this clone. Okay, so the notes for Nobile Royalty by Alexander da Costa. Honestly, guys, I had a hard time finding them, and then I thought to myself, who cares about the notes for this fragrance? It's a clone house. The whole point of this whole video is how close is it to Gucci Nobile. So there really is no notes that I have, except that I did read that there is a note of tobacco mixed in there, where there is not any of that in Gucci Nobile. But as far as the other notes, it really doesn't matter. It's just going to be how close does it get to Gucci Nobile. So talking about the performance, with the times that I've worn this, I've always thought to myself, hey, how close is it to Gucci Nobile? How long is it gonna last? Is it gonna be like Gucci Nobile's performance? And this one is not a beast mode scent. This is I think I mentioned in my other video, a 6-hour range, maybe just under a workday. And that's pretty much where this one comes into play as well too. So, maybe you're getting 7, if you spray a lot in your clothes, same thing with Gucci Nobile or many fragrances, it's gonna last a lot longer. But just on skin, and a little bit on clothing, average application in terms of sprays, I would say you're gonna get around the 6-hour mark. 7 would be stretching it. Okay guys, it's time for my overall thoughts on Nobile Royalty by Alexander da Costa. So what I've done is, and I'll do it again, I've gone ahead and I've sprayed some Gucci Nobile on this hand. We'll do one more here. What a good sprayer. And then we'll open it up on this one with some Nobile Royalty, just to kind of see with the opening. So, as far as clones go, the clones of Gucci Nobile, this is the only direct one that I know of. And for that purpose, it's actually pretty good. The opening is where I think it's the closest. That's where it has the most fougere qualities. It's got a little bit of that citrus, the green notes all sort of blended in there together, just like Gucci Nobile does. When the fragrance dries down, that's where they kind of start to separate, because this gets more of that smoky green mossiness, where this has a little bit of that, but it sort of then kind of flattens out. And then that's where you can tell that the lower quality ingredients, because again, this was initially very cheap, where this was a designer fragrance. And I would imagine when this was being sold, it was probably in the $80, $90, $100 range. Not now, obviously, and neither is this. But that's where it separates. So where this one stays, that top shelf, high quality, just beautiful, amazing fougere scent, this one sort of goes into, and it's still a little bit in the opening, but again, based on my experience, this one sort of goes into, and it's starting to do it now, this one sort of goes into like Lamani Pour-Homme quality scent territory. Now, I love Lamani Pour-Homme. That's not a bad scent, but it's $8. So the funniest thing about these fragrances is that how much they cost because they're discontinued. And Lamani Pour-Homme's not discontinued, but you can get that for $8. Great fougere, great knock-around scent, but that's what this one starts to flatten out. It's not as natural smelling, it's not as dense, it's not as fulfilling in the end as Gucci Nobile is. However, the opening is where it's the closest, and it's still a great fragrance. It still smells good, and if you love green fougeres and you want something that smells like Gucci Nobile and you don't want to buy Bon Monsieur, this would have been a great alternative. But the funny thing about this scent is it used to be, from what I understand, like maybe under $20. And now with this being discontinued, the prices for this have gone through the roof. Then this gets discontinued, and by way of its association with Gucci Nobile, the prices for this have gone through the roof. And this is like over $100 now. So the only way I could justify getting another bottle is if I can't get another one of Gucci Nobile. I don't want to spend the $156 on a big bottle of Bon Monsieur, so I'll spend the $110 on this. Is it worth $110? If you're a diehard Gucci Nobile fan, but you don't want to get it and you don't want the rogue perfumery smell, then maybe. Other than that, no. But that's the funny part about it, because you know it's not a $100 fragrance. It's like maybe at most, I don't know how much they cost, but maybe like a $39.99. Now, Alexander da Costa as a house is still around. They make some other fragrances. You can get them on eBay. There's one called Blue and one called Code, and they're like $50, $60. Maybe that's what the realm of this would be. It's definitely a classier, more mature fragrance, perfect for the office, great alternative if you have Gucci Nobile and you're just a collector, or you just want something so you can have that smell, but you don't want to use this. Like, I have a lot of bottles of this, so I don't mind using it. And fragrances, again, are meant to be worn, and they will go bad eventually. You know, it takes a while, but if you don't use them. So that's what I use this for. Again, great for work, great for the daytime. It's probably maybe, you know, late 20s and up would appreciate it. 30s, you know, if you enjoy fougeres, it's a great scent. Good clone house. It's a decent quality clone. Think about it like maybe the equivalent to a Club de Nuit, Intense Man to Aventus. You know, there's some harsher notes about Club de Nuit. It's not as smooth or perfect as Aventus is, and that's how this is, but more so in the dry down. You know, definitely daytime, like I said, more of a casual, but it can be formal too because it's a classy fougere. But since it's a clone, you always think, those are, you know, spray, daily signature type of scent fragrances. So I think it does some really good things. Falls a little bit flat. It's not 100%. I would say maybe about 80% to maybe 85% to Gucci Nobile. And Bon Monsieur might be a little bit closer in the dry down, and this just kind of swaps it out where the opening is going to be closer too. So overall, a good clone. Happy to have it. Not sure if I'd ever buy another bottle of it though, because I'd rather just spend the money and get the Gucci Nobile if I'm going for that top shelf fougere type of scent. Okay guys, it's time for my overall ratings for Nobile Royalty by Alexander da Costa. So we'll start back with the presentation. So what's going to save this one is the box. The bottle, however, is a little bit, you know, cheap. Again, I know it's a cheap fragrance, but I have to kind of think about what I did pay for this to get it. You know, this one for me was about $105. And it's definitely not worth that in terms of the presentation. The bottle is okay. I will say I'm happy that it's not just a sticker and that there's a cover, neck cover for that crimp there too. So the distribution's okay. So we're gonna give this a 6 out of 10 for the presentation. When it comes to the performance, 6.5 out of 10. I'm getting between 6 and 7 hours. So I always kind of just give it the benefit of the doubt and put it right in the middle. So 6.5 out of 10 for performance when it comes to my experience. And then the scent. Really like the opening. It's a great fougere scent, very close to Gucci Nobile in that aspect. Sort of takes a turn for the more Lemani Pour-Homme also, which I enjoy. However, when I want Gucci Nobile, I want something as close as possible if I'm going to be wearing a clone of it. So 7 out of 10 for the scent. It's going to bring the overall rating for Nobile Royalty by Alexander DaCosta to a 6.5 out of 10 for me. All right, guys, that's my review of the only known clone of Gucci Nobile, and that's Nobile Royalty by Alexander DaCosta too. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, recently I've been trying to do some different individual reviews, like some more rare scents like Lacoste Land, or the only known clone of Gucci Nobile, and that's Nobile Royalty too. So just trying to switch it up and go deep diving into some different fragrances for you guys to experience. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Make sure to let me know in the comment section, have you ever tried this? Do you know of another fragrance that you think is a better clone of Gucci Nobile? I always appreciate the interaction and love hearing from you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate that. And check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.